The sun had barely risen over the outskirts of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. In the gentle morning light, the streets came to life with the distant clatter of bicycles, food carts rolling out, and the occasional hum of tuk-tuks. But tucked away behind tall iron gates was a quieter world, one the city rarely saw. The rising dawn orphanage stood in the shadow of tall trees, its cream-colored walls cracked with age and stories. It was home to 47 children, each with a different story but all with one thing in common: abandonment, loss, or tragedy far too large for their tiny shoulders. Inside the orphanage the day had just begun. Children shuffled into the common room with messy hair and sleepy eyes. Some helped with setting up breakfast, others sat quietly, clutching the corners of blankets or worn stuffed animals. At the far end of the dining room sat Srepov, a soft-spoken 10-year-old girl with big almond eyes and shoulder-length black hair. She rarely smiled, rarely spoke. Her voice had retreated years ago after the loss of her parents in a flood that swept through her village. Even among dozens of children, she lived in silence, but something different was in the air that morning. The director of the orphanage, a Mr. Dara, a tall, lean man in his mid-50s who always wore the same olive-green shirt and faded jeans, paced nervously near the entrance. His phone had rung twice that morning. A visitor was coming. A special visitor. None of the children knew who, none of the staff knew when. But word had quietly spread like fire through dry grass. To Seacourse half an hour later, a black SUV slowly pulled up the dirt road. Its tires kicked up a thin cloud of dust as it came to a stop in front of the gates. The iron creaked open. Out stepped Angelina Jolie. She wore a simple, long white linen dress that swayed in the breeze. Her hair was pulled back in a soft bun, and she wore minimal makeup. She didn't arrive with a fleet of cameras or bodyguards, just one assistant holding a plain folder. No red carpet, no press, only purpose. As she stepped onto the gravel pathway toward the main building, the children inside pressed their faces to the windows. "Who is she?" whispered one boy. "She looks like someone from TV," said another. Srepov sat in her corner, eyes fixed on the woman walking slowly through the courtyard. There was something different about her, something gentle. The press inside the orphanage office as Mr. Dara offered her tea. She declined, instead opening the folder her assistant handed over. "I'm not here as a celebrity," Angelina said quietly. "I want to understand what these children really need. What they don't say." Mr. Dara was surprised. He had hosted donors, diplomats, and NGOs, but they rarely asked about feelings. "Most of them want to be seen," he replied, "not just looked at." Angelina nodded. She looked through the file's photos, notes, birth certificates. Then she asked something that no one had ever asked him. "Can I just spend the day here? No tour, no stage. Just sit with them?" Mr. Dara smiled for the first time that morning. "Yes, Miss Jolie, you can." Purpose later that morning, the children had returned to their classes and activities, but their eyes kept flickering toward the woman in white, who now sat cross-legged on the floor beside them during art time. She didn't speak much, she just sat and drew, colored, helped glue together scraps of paper. When a young boy named Esming, age 6, spilled glue on her dress, she only laughed and helped him clean it. Srepov watched from the corner. Her hands rested on a blank page she hadn't drawn in months. Her counselor said it was trauma, but really, it was that she didn't think anyone would ever see what she made. But now here was this woman, famous, beautiful, important, and she was laughing with children like they were the only people in the world. Srepov picked up a pencil. "Kui, there's a lunch timer." The children sat in the open-air dining hall under fans that buzzed overhead. Angelina took a plate and sat among them, not at the head table. She asked questions. "What's your favorite food? Do you like to dance? What makes you laugh?" The children answered shyly at first, but slowly warmed to her. One by one, stories flowed, names of villages, lost parents. She listened, deeply. Sometimes she smiled. Sometimes her eyes grew glassy. When Srepov passed behind her with a bowl, Angelina turned and gently touched her shoulder. "Hi there. What's your name?" Srepov didn't answer. She just looked into Angelina's eyes. 3 weeks had passed since Angelina Jolie first walked through the gates of Rising Dawn Orphanage. But for the children, it felt like a dream they weren't ready to wake up from. In the days that followed her visit, a quiet change settled in the orphanage. The laughter came easier. The mornings were warmer. Even Srepov, once the silent shadow in the corner, had begun humming softly during art sessions. She now drew nearly every day, filling pages with imagined stories and real moments. She hadn't said a word to anyone, but her drawings said plenty. And then one humid afternoon, as the children napped during the hottest hour of the day, the gates opened again. This time, the black SUV didn't stir the same surprise, but the excitement, that remained just as strong. Angelina had returned. Paused the second visit. She stepped out of the car in the same quiet grace, now wearing a soft beige blouse tucked into wide-leg linen trousers and simple sandals. Her hair was loose this time, resting gently over her shoulders. She carried a bag over one shoulder, but this time it wasn't just filled with notes or folders. It held something personal. Mr. Dara greeted her at the entrance, this time with less formality and more familiarity. "Welcome home," he said. Angelina smiled. "I hope I didn't wait too long to come back." He shook his head. "They talk about you every day." Sugo Srepov's IS. Angelina sat in the courtyard waiting. She didn't ask for the children to be brought to her. She waited for them to come when they wanted. And slowly they did. Meng came first, carrying a tiny paper airplane. Then came 3 girls from the younger dormitory, shyly holding flowers. One by one the children returned to the woman who had made them feel seen. Finally, from the back hallway, Srepov appeared. Her eyes met Angelina's and she paused. Then, with steady steps, she crossed the courtyard. She didn't bring a drawing this time. Instead, she reached into her pocket and took out a tiny bracelet made of red thread and beads. She held it out. Angelina leaned down. "Is this for me?" Srepov nodded. Angelina held out her wrist. Srepov tied it carefully, delicately, like she was tying a bond that couldn't be broken. Tudor's the reading circle later that day. Angelina gathered the children under the large neem tree in the back garden. She pulled a book from her bag. An illustrated story about a bird who couldn't sing until it found its home. The children sat around her on mats. Some lay on their stomachs, others sat cross-legged. Even the staff paused nearby to listen. Angelina's voice was soft but clear. She gave each character its own rhythm, its own pause. The children were completely still. As she reached the final page, her voice slowed. And though the bird had never sung before, that day in the tree it called home. Its voice rose into the sky, pure and beautiful, because someone had finally listened. Silence. And then, from the back of the group, a sound no one had heard in a year, a voice. "Thank you." It was Srepov. Past the staff meeting that evening, Angelina requested a meeting with the orphanage caretakers. They sat together in the office as the sun dipped behind the trees. Angelina opened her notebook. "I've been visiting orphanages across the world," she said, "and I've learned that donations help. But being present helps more." She looked at them all. "I want to sponsor not just the food or medicine here. I want to build something lasting, art programs, counseling, teacher training, and a library." The staff was silent, stunned. She continued, "And I want to come here every few months, no press. Just presence." And Mr. Dara, overwhelmed, wiped his eyes. "We've had visitors, many, but you're the first who wanted to stay." Angelina looked at him. "I don't want to be a visitor. I want to be family." Use me as new paint, new Hopi. Within 2 days, the orphanage transformed. Angelina stayed in a nearby guest house but spent every daylight hour with the children. She painted walls with them, helped install new bookshelves, even got her hands messy fixing old play equipment. She wore a navy blue t-shirt, cargo pants and sneakers, her hair tied back as she climbed ladders. The sun rose over Los Angeles with its usual golden haze, but for Angelina Jolie, this morning felt anything but usual. The city of dreams hummed with its daily rhythm, agents, auditions, traffic, and the buzz of scripts waiting to be read. But she wasn't thinking about her next movie. She was watching Srepov. The 10-year-old sat at the kitchen table of Angelina's house in Los Feliz, her small hands wrapped around a mug of warm tea. Her hair was neatly tied in a ponytail. Her sketchbook lay open beside her, filled with stories and faces. Angelina, in a soft white sweatshirt and jeans, sat across from her. It had been 4 weeks since the adoption had been finalized. The adjustment hadn't been perfect, but it had been beautiful. So the first day, Angelina kept the first days simple. No paparazzi, no public outings, just home. Srepov explored everything. The hallway full of books, the garden where hummingbirds visited, the piano she touched but didn't yet play. She was absorbing the rhythm of safety, something she'd never known before. Angelina cooked simple meals, read stories at night, let Srepov sleep with a nightlight on. She made sure the house was quiet, calm, and every night Srepov drew. On the 4th night, she drew a picture of Angelina and slipped it under her pillow. Tuzla visit to the studio after 2 weeks. Angelina gently asked if Srepov wanted to visit the movie studio. "You don't have to be in front of the camera," she smiled. "But I want you to see the stories we create." Srepov nodded. They arrived mid-morning at a soundstage in Burbank. Angelina wore a tan trench coat over a white blouse and jeans. Srepov wore a light blue cardigan, navy leggings and sneakers. Her hair was braided. The crew greeted them with warmth, no cameras, just kindness. Srepov stood quietly in the corner as actors rehearsed. Then, slowly she walked over to the director's chair. Angelina smiled. "Want to sit there?" She did. And from that chair Srepov watched the scene unfold, a woman saving a child from a fire. Her eyes didn't blink. She whispered, "She looks like you." Angelina kneeled beside her. "Sometimes, the stories we tell are about who we hope to be." Letters from the orphanages every week. Angelina helped Srepov read letters from her old friends at Rising Dawn Orphanage. Meng sent a drawing of a spaceship. The girls sent bracelets. Srepov wrote back. She included a drawing of her new bedroom, a tiny bird at the window. On the back she wrote, "I found my tree." like the bird in the story. Angelina read it with wet eyes. To the public review a month later, Angelina sat with her team to discuss how the adoption would go public. They'll find out soon, her agent said. You know how the media is. Angelina nodded. But I want the story to be hers, not mine. Not headlines, just truth. They released a simple statement. Angelina Jolie has quietly expanded her family through adoption. The child's privacy is being respected. No interviews, no appearances. The media ran with it anyway. But they couldn't capture the warmth of two people building a new world together. The first, I love you. It came on a rainy Sunday. They were sitting on the couch, watching a documentary about elephants in Thailand. Srapov leaned against Angelina, blanket up to her chin. Did you ever ride an elephant? She asked. Once. But only after I made sure it was treated kindly, Angelina replied. Srapov was quiet. Then she said, I love you. Angelina froze, her heart surged. She wrapped her arms around her daughter. Lut's art show at school at Srapov started attending a local art-based school 2 months after the adoption. She was shy, soft-spoken, but her art spoke volumes. At the first school art show, parents wandered through the halls, admiring paintings and sketches. One display stopped everyone. A drawing titled The Gate. It showed an open iron gate, and beyond it, children laughing. A woman in a white dress stood holding the hand of a girl. A small note read, Sometimes angels don't have wings. They wear sandals and listen. Angelina read it silently. She turned to see Srapov hiding behind the pillar watching. She smiled. Angelina held out her hand. Srapov walked over and took it. Chorus returned to Cambodia 6 months later. They returned to Cambodia together.